At 6 a.m., 3 police cruisers surrounded my horse pond. Victoria Blackwell, the HOA president, screamed like she was taking down a fugitive. "He's violating federal animal codes. Arrest him now." I didn't flinch, just watched my horses in the sunrise. Then one officer paused. "Wait, are these Border Patrol horses?" Silence. Victoria's smirk vanished. She thought she was enforcing HOA rules. She didn't know she'd just walked into a federal operation, and that was only the beginning. My name is Jake Morrison. 6 months ago, I traded my badge for silence, moving back to my grandfather's old ranch outside Phoenix. 40 acres of desert for retired Border Patrol horses, and no more battles to fight, or so I thought. After losing my wife Sarah to cancer, I wasn't looking for justice. I was looking for peace. Every morning, I walked Thunder Ranger Storm and Blaze down to the pond. Watching them swim brought a stillness I hadn't felt in years. The land had been in my family since 1962. The horses, they'd served beside me through cartel raids, desert rescues, and hostage ops. We earned our scars together. But that quiet morning routine ended when Victoria Blackwell stepped onto my land in high heels and hatred. I was filling the horse's water trough when her voice sliced through the desert air like barbed wire. Excuse me. Victoria Blackwell stormed across my property line as if she owned the ground beneath her stilettos. Her platinum curls bounced like they were personally offended by the heat. Behind her trailed 2 HOA board members with clipboards, eyes darting nervously. "Mr. Morrison," she announced loud enough for the crows to hear, "we need to talk about your livestock." I stood, tall hands still damp from the hose. "Good morning, Victoria. Problem." She flipped open a folder. Section 4.27. No working animals allowed without HOA board approval. These horses violate every line. I nodded toward the old sign near the fence. "This pond's on federal land." My grandfather, Victoria, laughed, sharp and cruel. "Federal land." "Oh, sweetheart, have you taken your pills today?" Victoria didn't stop at laughing. She turned to the HOA board, then to the small group of neighbors who had wandered over, curious. And then she went for the kill. Everyone, she said, hand over her mouth like it was a secret she couldn't help but spill. "Mr. Morrison here believes he's sitting on a secret federal base. A training facility, no less. Isn't that cute?" Gasps. A few chuckles. One board member whispered something and smirked. Victoria leaned in just loud enough. "Maybe he's confused. Or maybe he forgot his meds." She turned to the group again, louder. "I'm starting to worry, honestly. Should someone like him, an old man with combat trauma, really be living alone? With giant animals?" She turned to a man beside her. "We should report this. He's a danger to the community." And just like that, it wasn't about horses anymore. I didn't raise my voice, didn't flinch. I just pointed toward the weathered sign near my fence. "Victoria, that pond, and the surrounding 2 acres are federally zoned. My grandfather signed the original contract in 1967. It's still active." She blinked, then laughed again, louder this time. "Oh my God, he actually believes it." She turned, stage whispering to her audience. "This poor man's been out here too long. Desert heat's cooked his brain." Then, like an actress delivering her big line, she looked straight at me. "Mr. Morrison, if you think you're running some secret Border Patrol facility, maybe it's time we involve more than just the HOA." She took a dramatic pause. "I'm calling my attorney and adult services. For your safety. And ours." That was the moment I realized this wasn't just a neighborly dispute. This was war. The next morning, a certified letter showed up at my gate. $5,000 in fines. Immediate removal of all unauthorized livestock. And a threat of legal action if I didn't comply within 48 hours. Victoria wasn't bluffing. She posted photos of my horses on the HOA message board, cropped, filtered, made to look like they were mistreated. One showed Thunder mid-roll in the dirt. The caption read, "Animal cruelty," then came the rumors. Neighbors whispered about the unstable old man with government delusions. Trash cans were knocked over. Someone cut the hose to the trough. and late that night I spotted headlights near my back fence. Too slow to be passing traffic, too steady to be innocent. Victoria wasn't just using HOA bylaws anymore, she was watching me. And she'd just taken the fight somewhere I was trained to win. It happened just before sunrise. I was walking thunder and blaze toward the pond when I smelled it burnt plastic. Then, crack. A burst of sparks exploded near the power line by the barn. The horses reared back, panicked. I grabbed their leads, pulled them hard, and backed away as a second spark snapped in the dirt. I found the cable minutes later. Clean cut. Deliberate. Hidden beneath hay near the main trough. Someone had rigged it to trigger just as we passed. One wrong step and I could have lost a horse or my life. I checked my cameras. 3 were offline. The others corrupted. But whoever did this left a footprint. Literally. A size 12 work boot. Fresh tread. Right near the main gate. This wasn't HOA harassment anymore. This was sabotage. The next hit came quietly. I woke up to find the front gate of the barn swinging open. Padlock cut clean. Bolt bent. Inside, Storm and Ranger were pacing nervously. One of the side panels had been kicked in, splintered like firewood. The automatic water system offline. The soil around the trough was dry as bone. But the worst part, the back latch to the main corral was unhooked. One push from a nervous horse and they'd be out on the road. 20 seconds from disaster. I spent the next 2 hours inspecting everything. Wiring rerouted. Ventilation blocked with insulation. Every change small but intentional. Someone wasn't just trying to spook me. They wanted me to lose control. And whoever it was, they knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't amateur vandalism, this was a blueprint. That night I upgraded everything. New cameras, motion-triggered, low-light silent. Backup batteries, hidden wireless links Tommy helped me encrypt. By 2:30 a.m., the feed lit up. 2 men in black hoodies crouched along the fence line disabling cameras one by one. Precise, fast, trained. One carried what looked like a signal jammer, the other a bag. Something small metal glinted as he entered my barn. They moved like they'd done this before, because they had. A third figure stayed in the street seated in a parked sedan, watching, logging. They didn't touch the horses, but they planted something. When the sun came up, I searched the rafters. Tucked inside the hayloft was a black disc the size of a quarter, a listening device. Victoria wanted me out, but someone else wanted in. By noon, Tommy Chen was at my kitchen table laptop, open, eyes tight. "Jake, you need to see this." He pulled up footage from his home security system. Same 2 men, same car, same pattern. Then he opened a second tab license plate lookup. The sedan belonged to Desert Eye Solutions, a private investigation firm. I dug deeper, Tommy said, fingers flying. The PI registered to that company as Rick Johnson. My stomach dropped. I knew that name. Ex-cop, Tommy continued. Fired from Phoenix PD evidence tampering excessive force, lost his pension. He's been blacklisted by every department in the state. He turned the screen to me. There's more. He's uploading activity reports from your property to an encrypted server overseas. I leaned back, heart pounding. Victoria wasn't just harassing me. She'd hired a ghost with a gun and nothing to lose. Tommy kept digging. I watched his eyes go wide. Jake. Payment records. He spun the laptop toward me. A credit card transaction from 3 weeks ago. Name on the billing address Victoria Blackwell. She didn't just know Rick. She hired him. $2,000 up front. Tommy muttered, scrolling. Another 3 on delivery. What delivery, I asked. He hesitated. Location data, daily routine, camera blind spots, even a list of your horse feed suppliers. My fists clenched. This wasn't just about noise complaints or HOA codes anymore. Victoria was building a case. Or someone else was using her to build something worse. Tommy looked at me face pale. Jake, this isn't HOA-level stuff. Rick's connected to a bigger network. And Victoria's playing a dangerous game she doesn't understand. And if she kept pushing, she wouldn't be the only one who got burned. The next morning, Victoria escalated. She called a press conference. HOA board in tow. Local news. Even a live stream on her HOA Facebook page titled Exposing a Federal Fraud in Our Neighborhood. Standing in front of the pond, she pointed directly at my barn. This man is using government connections as a cover. He refuses to obey our community standards, endangering our families and hiding behind phony military nonsense. She even gave the reporters my horses' names, their routine, their swim time. He walks them down here every morning at dawn, like clockwork. Tommy called me mid-broadcast. Jake, it's bad. Encrypted channels just lit up. Somebody's watching this. And cross-referencing satellite data with her stream. She thought she was exposing corruption. But what Victoria had just done was broadcast a federal facility to the dark web. Live. Tommy showed up at my front gate 20 minutes later, breathing hard laptop slung over his shoulder. Jake, it's not just encrypted chatter anymore. He tapped the screen. I'm picking up pings from at least 3 IPs tied to known trafficking cells. They're triangulating the live stream, pulling heat maps, real-time surveillance stuff. I stared at the footage. Across the street from my ranch, parked like nothing was wrong, sat a black SUV with aftermarket antennae. Another one appeared near the community pool. They're setting up, Tommy muttered. Not law enforcement. These guys are pros, ghost cell types. Coordinated patient. We watched one of them exit his vehicle pretending to jog. He wasn't exercising. He was scanning. Jake. Tommy looked at me. If they think your horses are the key, they're not going to knock on the door. They're going to break it down. That evening, Margaret Sullivan knocked on my door. 70, sharp-eyed and steady as desert rock. She carried a worn manila folder and a look I hadn't seen since my grandfather's funeral. Jake, she said gently, you deserve to know the truth. Inside the folder were documents older than I was. Maps, letters, signatures stamped with federal seals. My grandfather hadn't just owned land. He'd signed a permanent easement with the Department of Homeland Security in 1967. The pond wasn't just a pond. It was a designated training zone for mounted Border Patrol units used in covert operations and emergency extractions for over 5 decades. Even the fencing, the equipment, federal property. And the horses still under national protection assigned to me under a veteran care program. I looked up from the papers, my throat dry. Victoria hadn't picked a fight with a horse owner. She'd declared war on a federal asset. The attack came just after 2 a.m. I jolted awake to the sound of horses screaming, followed by the sharp bark of my old shepherd Duke. I looked out of the window. Flames. Orange light blooming against the night sky coming from the barn. I grabbed my boots, ran barefoot across gravel and ash. 2 shadows moved by the sidewall, one holding a gas can, the other lighting a rag. "Hey!" I shouted. One turned mask on no hesitation and threw the can at me. I ducked, tackled him low. We rolled through dust and firelight, fists and fury. The other one ran. By the time I got the blaze out, the barn was half charred, the horses terrified, but alive. In the dirt, I found a scorched glove and a Desert Eye Solutions security badge. This wasn't just intimidation, it was attempted murder. By sunrise, I had the footage. Grainy dark, but clear enough 2 men, one assaulting me, the other fleeing. I sent it to Tommy with one line, "Let's hunt." He showed up 30 minutes later, eyes hard. I ran the badge, he said. Fake company name, but the serial number tracks used by a shell firm out of El Paso. He opened a map marked with heat signals and satellite pings. "Jake, they've been circling your ranch for weeks. That fire wasn't random. It was a signal." I leaned over the table. "If they're watching us, we feed them what they want." Tommy raised an eyebrow. "You mean—" "Bait," I nodded. "We play it quiet. Keep the routine. Let them think the horses are unprotected." He stared at me. "And when they move, I smiled cold. Then we move louder. The next morning, Victoria showed up unannounced with a local news van and 2 HOA board members in tow. She wore a red blazer, camera-ready, lips painted like she was going to war. Today, she declared into her live stream, we expose the truth about Jake Morrison, his lies, his illegal animals, and his dangerous delusions. Behind her, the camera panned across my ranch. It caught the pond, the barn, the corral, and then unintentionally it caught something else. A girl, barefoot, mud-stained, hiding behind the fence post, eyes wide with fear. Maria. I saw her from the kitchen window at the same moment Tommy's phone rang. Emergency tone, hospital code. 2 girls had just shown up at the ER with the signs of trafficking, but only one had escaped, and Victoria's live stream had just told the world exactly where she ran. Night fell like a curtain. I checked my Gear sidearm flashlight old radio from my Border Patrol days. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Soft. Calculated. I stepped outside moonless sky air, still as glass. "Mr. Morrison," a voice hissed. It was Victoria, in a trench coat, heels clicking phone clutched like a weapon. "I know you're hiding something," she snapped. "I'll find it myself." Before I could speak another sound, sharp. Boots, multiple pairs. 3 men emerged from the shadows. Dark clothes, gloves, no markings. One raised a suppressed pistol. Victoria froze, eyes wide. "Who are you?" "I'm the HOA president." "Wrong thing to say." The man raised the gun. I lunged, tackled Victoria behind a trough. Bullets thudded into the fence. We hit the dirt hard. She looked at me terrified. "What the hell is this?" I answered flatly. "Your mess. My war." I fired twice clean shots into the dirt near their feet. Enough to make them scatter. Not enough to start a war. Yet. Victoria trembled beside me, clutching her designer coat like it could stop bullets. She whispered, voice cracking. "Who are these people?" I didn't answer. Instead, I dragged her behind the barn out of sight into silence. That's when I saw it. A black pickup idling behind the stables. Unmarked, windows tinted. I crept closer. In the back, beneath a torn tarp, were heavy chains, plastic tarps, and a folded map marked with waypoints, leading south. Then I heard coughing. Soft, human. I yanked open the passenger door. Nothing, but tucked in the glove box a passport. Name Maria Santos. And behind it, a photo of her with Judge Eduardo Santos, Mexico's most hunted anti-cartel prosecutor. This wasn't just trafficking. It was political. I didn't wait. I grabbed my old sat phone from the safe, still linked to my clearance from the service. Dialed a number I hadn't touched in 5 years. "Rodriguez," a voice answered. Calm, sharp, still in the game. "Lisa, I said it's Morrison. I've got a situation trafficking, political target, possible breach of federal ground, and one of our retired assets just ran here for her life." Silence. Then, location. Same place. Grandpa's ranch. Pause. "I'm dispatching Gonzalez. You hold position. Do not escalate." Too late for that, I thought. Victoria sat on the porch, shaking, finally silent. Tommy burst through the side gate, laptop in hand. Jake chatters spiking. Satellite overlay shows movement. Tactical patterns. Rodriguez's voice returned firm. "Gonzalez is en route. Lock it down. You're no longer retired." I stepped out onto the porch. Time to suit up. Agent Maria Gonzalez arrived just after dawn. Black SUV tactical gear, no wasted words. "You're Jake Morrison, yes. Good. You're officially reactivated." She opened the trunk map's comms encrypted tablets. "We've tracked chatter for weeks," she said. "The network knows this location, and now they know the girl's here." Almost on cue, Maria Santos stumbled from the tree line. Covered in dirt, eyes hollow, blood on her shirt. "She ran again," Gonzalez muttered. "She's smart, but desperate." I rushed to her, speaking in calm Spanish. "You're safe, I promise." She looked up at me, tears forming. "They're coming. They want me back." She held out a GPS tag ripped from her own skin. Tommy looked up from his screen. "Jake." 4 new vehicles just parked around the perimeter. Not cops. Gonzalez grabbed her comm. "Lock and load. This is going live." While Gonzalez and I secured Maria Victoria, still in full makeup from the night before, stormed onto the porch with her phone held high. "I want this documented," she snapped. "This man is harboring an undocumented minor, possibly dangerous." Her phone was already streaming live. Again. I stepped forward, furious. Victoria shut it off. "You're exposing her location," but she turned the camera on Maria. "There, see? This is what happens when you let federal contractors run rogue." Maria froze. Her face bloodied, exhausted now, broadcasted to thousands. Tommy's phone buzzed. "Jake," he said, grim, encrypted channels just flared again. "They're watching her stream." Victoria paled. "What do you mean, they?" Before I could answer, Gonzalez's comm cracked. Targeted chatter confirmed. "Hostiles en route, 5 minutes out." I looked at Victoria. "You just rang the dinner bell." The first SUV didn't even stop. It barreled through the side gate, scattering gravel and fence posts. 3 men jumped out, ARs, drawn no insignia. Professional, cold, fast. I shoved Maria behind a trough. Gonzalez dove left, barking into her comm engagement confirmed. Hostiles on site, returning fire. Victoria screamed and hit the deck, dropping her phone midstream. Still live, gunfire cracked through the morning haze. I ducked behind a stack of hay bales, returned fire with my old sidearm, 1 hit to the tire, another to the lead gunman's vest. He stumbled, but kept coming. Tommy yelled from the barn. Jake rear camera shows 2 more flanking left. This wasn't intimidation, this was extraction, and Maria wasn't just a witness anymore, she was the prize. We were outnumbered, but not outmatched. Not yet. I whistled 3 short, 1 long. An old signal from our border patrol days. From the side paddock, thunderstorm and blaze exploded into motion. No saddles, no hesitation, just instinct. They charged the left flank, hooves pounding like war drums. The 2 gunmen circling the barn turned too slow. Thunder slammed one to the ground. Storm kicked the rifle from the other's hands. Even Gonzalez paused. "Are those trained?" "They were born for this," I said. Maria peeked out, eyes wide. "They're not just horses," she whispered. "No," I replied. "They're soldiers." Tommy called out from behind the trough, waving a tablet. "Jake, 1 more SUV, inbound bigger, heavily armored. They're bringing the cleanup crew." I reloaded. Gonzalez nodded. "Then we hold the line." The horses circled back ready, and so were we. Amidst the chaos, an old pickup rolled slowly down the dirt road. No urgency, no panic, just purpose. In the driver's seat, Maggie Sullivan, waving politely like nothing was burning behind her. I froze. Gonzalez narrowed her eyes. "That her?" "Yeah," I said. "Neighbor. Allie," I thought. Maggie stepped out carrying the same manila folder she'd given me days ago. "I was hoping it wouldn't come to this," she said gently. "But you poked too deep, Jake. And Maria wasn't supposed to make it here." Victoria gasped. You knew," Maggie smiled, cold. "Dear, I built it. Long before Rick Johnson ever showed up. Before David drowned." Tommy's face drained of color. "She's not just part of it," he whispered. "She's the spine." And just like that, the quietest voice on the block became the loudest threat in the room. Gonzalez's radio cracked. Confirmed hit on encrypted uplink. Code name, Lazarus. She froze. "Jake. Lazarus is real, and he's here." Before I could ask, a voice echoed from behind Maggie's truck. Smooth, confident, familiar. "Didn't think I'd let you finish this party without me, did you?" I turned, heart seizing. David Carlisle, Patricia's husband. The man we buried 5 years ago. Alive, not hiding. Commanding. He stepped into the firelight in tactical gear, a pistol on his hip and a grin that chilled the blood. "Jake, Maggie told me you were stubborn. But damn, bringing the horses into this," Patricia, watching from the porch, collapsed to her knees. "David," he winked. "Missed me, darling. Everything we thought we knew burned, and the real war was just beginning. David stepped forward, calm like a man holding all the cards. Gun still holstered, smile unwavering. "I'm not here to kill anyone, Jake," he said. "Just give me the girl and we walk. No blood, no fire." Maria clutched my arm tighter. Gonzalez aimed, but I raised my hand. "Why her?" I asked. He smirked. "She's not just a witness. She's leverage. Her daddy locked up half my clients. Cartels want her back alive. For now." I looked over. Patricia sobbed silently. Broken, betrayed. "I'll give you 5 minutes," David said. "Bring her to the edge of the pond. Or I come take her myself." Then he turned, walking back toward the SUV. The wind shifted. Maria whispered, "If he gets me, they'll kill my whole family." I looked her in the eyes. "Then we don't give him anything." We had 5 minutes. Maybe less. Gonzalez snapped into motion. "I'll take high ground by the silo. Tommy, get the drones up. Now." Maria stayed behind the reinforced feed room steel walls, one exit. I handed her my grandfather's .38. "Only if it's life or death." She nodded, silent but steady. Brave. I moved toward the pond. The fog hung low, perfect cover. I knew this ground better than anyone. We rigged motion sensors in the cattails, laid tripwires near the fence break. Thunder, Storm, and Blaze waited by the barn, restless alert. Gonzalez clicked into comms. Eyes on movement. 3 targets, fanning right. David's staying back. I stepped onto the water's edge, heart steady. Time slowed. They were coming, and this time, we were ready to send them all to hell. The first shot cracked through the mist. Then chaos. Flashes of muzzle fire lit the cattails. Storm lunged first, slamming a gunman sideways into the mud. Blaze reared hooves, flying, scattering 2 more. I fired, clean and fast, 1 center mass, 1 into a rifle barrel mid-raise. Metal sparked. Gonzalez took the silo sniper precision. "Left side clear," she shouted. But David wasn't with them. I spun too late. He was behind me. Gun raised. "Move," he hissed, "or she dies." Maria stood frozen, cornered at the barn door. David's pistol aimed at her chest. Then a crack. Not gunfire. A hoof. Thunder smashed into David's ribs, launching him sideways. He fired midair wild. The bullet grazed my shoulder, but Maria was safe. David hit the dirt, groaning, and the horses circled him, breathing like war drums. It was over. Almost. Victoria was taken into custody not for conspiracy but for obstruction, endangerment, and reckless broadcasting of a federal operation. She never meant harm, but her arrogance, her need to be right, nearly got a young girl killed. If she had listened just once, none of this would have happened. Maria is safe now in federal protection. The horses were returned to duty, honored for their service. And the pond remains quiet, still watching. This wasn't just a border story. It was a lesson about judgment, responsibility, and how even small actions can echo across lives. Jake didn't ask to be a hero. He just refused to stay silent. If this story made you think, feel, or reflect, we hope you'll like, subscribe, and stay with us for more true stories that matter. Thank you for listening. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the next one.